Hello, welcome to your favorite bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Heather.
And today we have another book to movie adaptation. We will be discussing and reviewing The Wizard of Oz. As usual, let's talk about our fuel for this discussion. What are you drinking, Heather?
Well, full disclaimer before we start, I am stuffed up, so I apologize in advance for how I sound. My daughter brought back the first back-to-school cold of many, and I unfortunately caught it. So That's where I'm at now. But I actually did go to Starbucks before we recorded because I'm exhausted, and I got a iced white chocolate mocha.
Delicious.
Oat milk, no whip, and it's just a classic. My classic go-to. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nespresso, man. They came out with their fall flavors.
Oh.
After I just dropped $100 and some. Now
Yeah.
I had to drop another $80 because I had to get a bunch of sleeves of pumpkin, and then they put out the other fall flavor. I don't know if this is a new fall flavor, and I just didn't know about it last year. But anyway, it's maple pecan coffee.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's very good. It doesn't have a very strong flavor, which is good because sometimes their flavored coffees are like too much or like too bitter, but it smells amazing when you're brewing it, obviously. So I had that with I got the Oatly oat creamer in the pumpkin. So it's delicious because we've talked about it, the creamy.
I actually had the pumpkin spice Chobani Greek yogurt today for the first time ever.
Oh, how was it?
Really good. And I put my peanut butter granola in it, and it was very delicious. So I was never a pumpkin spice girly, but I'm starting to become one.
I think you were never an artificial tasting pumpkin because some pumpkin things I don't like at all. Yeah, but some I love. Mm-hmm. Like I really like pumpkin baked goods because it doesn't taste super pumpkin. It's just like cinnamon.
Munchkins at Dunkin' are so good.
And their pumpkin muffin. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I haven't tried the pumpkin muffin.
Pumpkin muffin's good.
Yeah. But yeah, you should definitely try the pumpkin spice Chobani because it was really good.
Though I've had it in the flip. They have like a pumpkin flip.
Yeah, no, this was just like by itself.
Just by itself. I gotta try that.
It's like a limited edition, obviously.
Yeah.
But I got it at ShopRite. I was like,
but I love Chobani, so I'll definitely get that. And I got this new granola from Whole Foods. It's like chocolate chip cookie granola, and it's made with coconut oil. So it's in like little clusters, but it's soft. It's not like super crunchy.
Oh, speaking of granola, I got the cookies and cream granola from Target.
Oh, how is it?
Really good. Really good. Like I could eat it by itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's like the Good and Gather Target brand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, look at us talking about granola. This is your mid-30s.
I'm on my health journey.
Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So first I'm going to read our book description, and then we'll get into some background on the movie. Swept away from her home in Kansas by a tornado, Dorothy and her dog Toto find themselves stranded in the fantastical land of Oz. As instructed by the Good Witch of the North and the Munchkins, Dorothy sets off on the yellow brick road to try and find her way to the Emerald City and the Wizard of Oz who can help her get home. With her companions, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Cowardly Lion, Dorothy experiences an adventure full of friendship, magic, and danger. A much-loved children's classic, The Wizard of Oz continues to delight readers young and old with its enchanting tale of witches, flying monkeys, and silver shoes. So, the biggest difference between the book and the movie is that in the book, she had silver shoes.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they're red shoes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so the book was published in 1900.
That's crazy.
Which is absolutely fucking crazy. 125 years ago. And now the movie came out in 1939, and which is also fucking crazy. And it wasn't very successful when it first came out, but seeing movies was obviously difficult and like not easily accessible. It's not like you could just like hop on down to the AMC and get yourself a nice, ticket with your reserved seating and your bucket of popcorn. So it was sold for primetime broadcast to network TV. And it was the first movie that had ever been sold to a primetime broadcast. And that was in 1956. So that's when people really started seeing it, and it grew more successful and people started loving it, talking about it, etc. Also, this movie is rated G. And obviously when it came out, there was no such thing as movie ratings, but I think it's a little scary to be rated G.
I agree, actually.
Like, there's a lot of death.
Yeah. Yeah. I also saw that they actually wanted Shirley Temple to play Dorothy.
Yes. So they wanted Shirley Temple, but then it was this whole mess because of like the studio that owned basically Shirley Temple's contract.
Yeah.
But also because Shirley Temple wasn't as good of a singer as Judy Garland.
I can't imagine it being anyone else but Judy Garland.
Oh, 100%. It would be so different with Shirley Temple.
Yeah. Yeah.
So instead of going through the movie stats or accolades, we're going to just briefly go through what an absolute shit show the set was for this movie. Do you know the lore of The Wizard of Oz?
I feel like I know it briefly, so you might trigger some memories, or this might be all brand new information. We'll find out.
I feel like there's some that's very publicized that a lot of people know. But basically, the director, Victor Fleming, had a nasty temper, and he didn't care much about safety. So the snow that falls on the group at one point is made of pure asbestos. They just had asbestos sprinkling from the skies, along with the witch's broom and all of the hay in the scarecrow uniform, which obviously was worn by the actor for several hours a day, just covered in asbestos.
Love that.
The Tin Man's makeup was made from pure aluminum dust.
Holy shit.
Which was obviously covering his face and being ingested. So the first actor who was cast was extremely allergic. So he actually had to leave to be hospitalized. And he suffered lifelong side effects like breathing and respiratory issues. And he didn't even have the movie credit to go along with it.
That's crazy.
Which is like so fucked up.
That's so crazy.
And then for the actor who replaced him, they changed it to aluminum paste instead of aluminum dust.
Okay.
So it wasn't as like pungent, and he wasn't like breathing in like the actual dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as far as the lion, his costume was made from genuine lion hide. So it was super heavy and super hot, and he obviously had to wear it like dancing around and skippity doo-dahing down the golden road, the yellow brick road. I forgot what it was called. God. And then as far as accidents go, the Wicked Witch was badly burned during the scene where there's like that little explosion and she disappears.
Yeah, I think that one I knew.
Yeah, so the trapdoor malfunctions, and she was supposed to be like dropped out of the explosion, but it malfunctioned, so she was stuck in it, and she sustained like burns all over her body. They weren't that bad, but she was still being covered in the green makeup after that while they were filming, and the makeup had to be removed with alcohol.
That's
so
crazy.
That alcohol obviously burned her skin even more and irritated the burns that she had sustained. Then her stunt double was also burned when the pipe that she was sitting on for the skywriting scene exploded and burned the entire inside of her legs. She had to be hospitalized for 11 days. And instead of cutting that from the movie, they were like, okay, and they got another stunt double to come in and do it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the worst and most egregious of all is the treatment of Judy Garland.
Yeah.
Which this is like very well known,
Yeah.
but she was too old looking for the part. So, but she had the vocal skill, like I was saying. So that's why they wanted to go with Shirley Temple. She was obviously much younger looking. And I think there were a couple other actresses like that had auditioned for it too, but they went with Judy Garland because of her vocal skills. So for her appearance, they taped down her chest. They had her wear a corset underneath her costume. Meanwhile, she's 16 at this time.
Yeah.
She was also put on a diet consisting of chicken soup, black coffee, and cigarettes, along with diet pills. Which, not for nothing, when I was 21, I was also on a diet consisting of lean cuisines, black iced coffee, and cigarettes. So I get it. I wasn't famous. I was also 21. Anyway, besides the point. So I think the most famous thing that she went through is that she was constantly being drugged. So she was given uppers so they could shoot for long hours, and then given sleeping pills when it was time to sleep. And of course, she wasn't getting enough sleep when they were letting her sleep, so they would wake her up with caffeine pills and adrenaline shots. Thoughts on that?
And she's great. And she's like technically a minor.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
but they obviously didn't have those laws yet.
It's like pretty much workplace child abuse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we'll get into it again because there's other stuff too. But this is like the widely publicized, verified claims.
Crazy.
All right. Let's get into the movie. Why do I ruin everything?
What do you mean?
By bringing my little black cloud. Why did I have to start with all that bad news?
Because that's your MO.
It really is. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's bring this black cloud right into the land of Oz. Okay. So we open... Wait, when was the last time you saw this movie?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been like over 10 years for sure.
Nuh-uh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my good golly. Okay.
And like
Full
the first
disclosure.
the first time I saw it was in high school. Yeah, so they played it in my chorus class. It was either my freshman or sophomore year, and everyone was like shooketh that I was the only one in the class that had never seen it. But then what's even more mind-blowing is that it was my grandma's like favorite movie. So I don't like my dad's grandma. So I don't know how I never seen it, considering.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Because she owned a dance studio. And at one point there was, towards the end of her career, she would do a separate dance recital for just like the little tots and like little kids. And she would do like themes. So she did like Wizard of Oz. And I was the Cowardly Lion.
Oh my God, you were?
Yeah, so I had to like lip sync some of the parts from the movie. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is bringing back some stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow, and I can't believe you still never saw it.
No,
That's
like I didn't see it until I was in high school. So
well, full disclosure, this is my favorite movie of all time.
Okay.
Like number one. Anytime I think about my favorite movie, this is it. I've seen it at least 100 times. I watch it probably like 3 or 4 times a year, every year.
That's awesome. I love that.
I just love it.
Yeah.
But I don't normally watch it like this, like beginning to end, actually paying attention. Like I'll just have it on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, it was interesting to see like all of the things that I kind of forget about when I remember this movie, you know? So we open with Dorothy and her dog Toto, who live with their Aunt Em and Uncle Henry. And Dorothy is distraught because their shitty neighbor hit Toto with a rake for chasing her cat, and no one is listening to her. And obviously I find this super relatable because my dog also chases cats.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one's listening to her about what is happening with this neighbor. And you could tell right away she's definitely neglected a little bit, but not in an intentional way. It's because her aunt and uncle are running a whole ass farm. And like no one knows what happened to Dorothy's parents. So like they're doing their best. But anyway, the bitch ass neighbor comes and takes Toto, but Toto is a good boy and he escapes and runs back to Dorothy's house. But she knows it's only a matter of time that before the neighbor is going to come back. So she decides they have to run away. And then some like extraneous events happen that don't matter. And we have our infamous twister scene where her house is lifted up into a cyclone and drops down right on top of the Wicked Witch of the East. And we open up in Oz, and obviously it's such a stark contrast from the brown rural Kansas. So this movie definitely uses the colors to its advantage. So like when you're in Kansas, it's this very brown sepia tones, and then as soon as she lands in Oz, everything is colorful, tons of flowers and fields and crazy costumes, not to mention the actual Emerald City. So everything is just...
Was it of Oz the first Technicolor movie?
I looked it up and it wasn't. It was the first to use like some specific... That's what I had thought too.
I know. I thought that it was like this big thing because it was like one of the first like Technicolor movies.
So apparently other movies had used it before, but not on this grand of a scale. And then there were specific techniques of Technicolor that they were the first movie to use.
Okay.
But yeah, because I always thought that too. That's why I always thought that's why they had the color and the sepia in it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more complex than that. So anyway, Glinda the Good Witch allegedly shows up and tells her, like, hey, you're the witch who killed the other witch. And Dorothy's like, what? And then the Munchkins come just for a little sing-along to thank Dorothy for freeing them for under the control of the Wicked Witch. And Dorothy is skeptical, but not skeptical enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she's a child, so I guess. So then the other Wicked Witch comes, and Dorothy is like, okay, I've had enough of these weird-ass people. I gotta get my ass back to Kansas. So Glinda, who is truly not much help to anyone, because why hadn't she saved the Munchkins all those years? Yeah. And now why isn't she helping Dorothy? She's just like, here, I'm gonna put these magical shoes on top of you, on your feet, so that this other witch is gonna hunt you. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna tell you how to get back to Kansas. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, oh yeah, just like follow the road. Bye. Okay, we'll get back to you, Glinda. So she says that Dorothy has to go see the wizard in order to get back to Kansas. And all she needs to do is follow the yellow brick road in her fancy new ruby slippers. Mm-hmm. So off Dorothy goes after, more Munchkin performances. And the first one that she meets in her travels is Scarecrow, who is the least scary scarecrow ever. And he doesn't have a brain. Mm-hmm. And his rationale is that he would be a better scarecrow if he had a brain. Which is loose logic. Uh-huh. But sure. I guess he would be able to brainstorm ways to be scary.
Yeah.
But if you really break down the lyrics of these songs, they have nothing to do with anything. But that, alas, that's a musical.
I think it's just to make rhymes.
Exactly. So he wants to come with Dorothy to see the wizard, to see if they can do something about this brain so that he can be a super scary scarecrow. Mm-hmm. And off they go. Along the path, they get attacked by some apple trees, which is one of those plot points I was talking about that I completely forgot. Yeah, and they're just getting pelted with apples. But here they meet the Tin Man. And long story short, he doesn't have a heart. So alas, he is coming to see the wizard too. And next we get into a dark, scary forest where we meet the Cowardly Lion, who has no courage. So we've got our ragtag group, okay? And then they finally make it to Emerald City. First, they get a little makeover, which is amazing because the lion gets these curls in his mane, these literally like Shirley Temple curls, and a little bow on his head. And we love a movie makeover scene that is not transforming a person from, glasses to no glasses, but is just sprucing them up a little bit. Yeah. So the great and powerful Oz, they finally get in to see him. And it's basically this resounding voice that just fills the room, and then this huge green apparition almost that looks like the mask from the movie with Jim Carrey, The Mask.
Listen,
but I guess that came second.
I loved that movie.
So good. So good.
Anything with Jim Carrey in the 90s was my favorite.
And Cameron Diaz in the 90s. Looking incredible. Anyway, okay. Should probably rewatch that one. Anyway, that's what it looks like in this. Yeah. It's like a hologram almost. And so he's very mean and scary and not nice to the group, but he tells Dorothy and her crew that he'll only help them if they steal the Wicked Witch's broom.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as we'll see, the wizard he doesn't really want to help anybody, so he gives unrealistic parameters in which to help. And so he's like, oh, they'll never get the Wicked Witch's broom, so I'll never see these people again.
Exactly.
So, but Dorothy, not one to be deterred, is like,
No.
okay. So they go off to steal the Wicked Witch's broom. The witch captures them with the help of her terrifying winged monkeys.
Yeah.
And truly, my earliest memory of this movie is how scary the flying monkeys were. And not for nothing, when we went to see Wicked, the flying monkeys were also terrifying.
There's also a jump scare.
Yes. When they
flew through the
go up
fucking
against
window.
the glass. Yeah. So the flying monkeys are consistently scary. But alas, our group works together and escapes and kills the witch by pouring water on her.
I'm melting.
Ting! Yeah. So once again, Dorothy is victorious. And they bring the broom back, and the wizard is like, the fuck are you doing here? And she's like, no, we brought the broom, see? And he's like, he tries to send them away again. But Toto, the good boy,
the hero of this movie.
Seriously. He runs to this miscellaneous curtain in the corner, and he reveals that there is a random man with some of the most disconcerting facial features I've ever seen.
So wait,
is this terrifying looking man?
Is this the same actor that was at the gate when they get to Oz?
Yes, and it's the same actor who plays the palm reader or the tarot.
It is
crystal ball reader.
Okay. I didn't catch that, but I was like,
yeah.
When I was looking at him, I was like, this looks like the dude that was at the gate.
Yeah, he wears a lot of hats. Okay,
clearly,
and a lot of bulbous facial. Anyway, so yeah, he's working all these dials and flips and switches to make the Oz speak and look scary. And Dorothy's like, you're a bad man. And he's like, no. I'm a good man. I'm just a bad wizard. Which, okay, I can't argue with that rationale. I don't know you as a man. I know you're a bad wizard, though. But alas, even though the wizard has no special powers because he is in fact not a wizard, he helps each character with their individual requests. In response to the Scarecrow wanting a brain, he gives him a diploma, which automatically makes him spit out geometry formulas.
Yeah.
He gives the Cowardly Lion a medal, which gives him courage. And he gives the Tin Man a heart-shaped pocket watch.
Yeah.
This is a loose one.
It is.
Once again, not sure, but they distract you from the obvious misconception by saying a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others. So basically, there doesn't have to be any rationalization as long as we have a nice quote that we could print on a cross-stitch pillow.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And his solution for Dorothy is to take her in a hot air balloon that he doesn't know how to steer. But to absolutely no one's surprise, that doesn't work. So Glinda, what are you doing here?
She's back.
And she's like, oh, my bad. I could have sent you home all this time, but I needed you to kill my enemies first. Okay, Glinda. And she's like, oh, no. The reason I didn't is because Dorothy had to learn a lesson. And Dorothy's like, okay, I got this. So she says, if I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard, because if it's not there, I never really lost it in the first place. And to this I say, that's why people never get out of their small towns.
Yes.
Anyway, so Dorothy gets a little teary saying goodbye, but she's basically like, a nice knowing ya, Kansas, here I come.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she's real rude in front of everyone. She's like, oh, love you guys, kind of, but Scarecrow, I'll actually miss you.
Yeah.
No one addresses that. Anyway, so she clicks her ruby heels together 3 times and says there's no place like home. And she wakes up in her bed. Turns out it was all a big dream because she hit her head during the cyclone. And I do think this is really well done, the whole dreamscape thing, especially with the dual colors.
Yes, I agree.
And especially because Dorothy is portrayed as this imaginative, precocious girl who's always getting into trouble and whatever. So, of course, her dreams would be in full color with talking lions and fighting trees and dancing munchkin people. And then she goes back to Brown, Kansas, and she's like, wow, I love it here.
No place like home.
And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know. I think I also would be like, wow, this constant skipping and being attacked and singing and just, it's just a lot. So I understand why she wanted a break, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So who is your favorite character from this movie?
The Cowardly Lion.
I feel like that's everyone's favorite, right? Like, how could it not be?
I know. He's like, why'd you have to hit me?
He's like, put him up. Like, just the acting is so good. I also feel like we get a lot more time with him than we do with the Tin Man and the Scarecrow.
I agree. I feel like the Tin Man's part was really kind of shadowed by Scarecrow and Cowardly Lion. But yeah, I definitely think that
it's funny because I remember as a kid not liking the Tin Man. And it's like, because he doesn't really have that much of a storyline. And then even at the end, you get like that extra song with the Cowardly Lion where he like becomes a, king and puts on the robe. And, and
I love that part.
Yeah. And he's even just like his acting is so good. He's just like this big, lovable, you just want to love him. Whereas the Scarecrow is like this big bumbling, like Gumby guy. And the Tin Man is just creaky creaking. I don't know. He's definitely
doesn't have any substance.
It's not his fault. He's just made of tin.
Exactly. He needs to be WD-40'd every 5 minutes.
Literally. It's so funny. Okay. This movie is extremely well done for the time. And it's like unbelievable some of the effects they have and like the pyrotechnics and the stunts and the sets and all this stuff. Yeah. But it's also when you stop and look at like what's obviously like what we would have now as a green screen. Yeah. But it's obviously like a board screen behind, especially when like the twister's coming and there's just like everything's blowing over and you can see the background of the cyclone and stuff. It's just, I'm sure that when this came out, obviously we did not have high def TVs.
No. And like, I was actually thinking while I was watching it, I was like, I really wonder what this would be like if it was a remake. And like, I understand like they just did Wicked and Wicked is very, very similar to this, but obviously it's not. So I would actually be curious for them to do like a remake of it,
like an actual remake,
of specifically Wizard of Oz, because I think that it could actually be done really well
now. Because like maybe 10 years ago, I would have disagreed with you because I think it would be all CGI. But I think that because CGI is so readily available now, we do see a lot of movies, especially horror movies, where they are going back to practical effects and costumes and makeup and all this stuff. So I do think that it would be a lot of practical effects and just amazing set design and stuff. But yeah, it would just be crazy to see what they could do with it now. And you see so many movies, like even movies that came out in like the 90s where they weren't formatted for widescreen televisions. Yes. And now, or even like episodes of Friends and stuff, and you see it and there's like things that were outside the frame on the original production that now you can see. And it's like, they can never anticipate that when they originally make these movies, you know?
No, of course not.
So I think considering it is almost 90 years old. Yeah. The way it still holds up is insane. Like you would never believe that it's that old. No. So obviously we have a lot of themes of like friendship, identity, self-belief. I pulled this question directly from the internet, which you will immediately see by the way it's worded. What do the things the characters are seeking reveal about the human experience? That sounds ridiculous. But basically, so Dorothy doesn't realize how happy she was at home and in her life until faced with the threat of not returning there.
Yes.
And the whole message of this movie and the resolution with the wizard is that whatever these characters are seeking already exists within them.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you know, Scarecrow already has a brain. That
yes.
Like,
yeah.
Scarecrow, you can't be talking without a brain. I don't know. He's not a scientist. I get it. But Jesus Christ. And then, you know, the wizard just points out that they already have these things within them. They just need to kind of unlock them. Mm-hmm. And in that same way, because they kind of treat it differently with Dorothy, like hers is a separate thing, but she realizes that home is this state of contentment or safety. And that's how she feels when she's home with Aunt Em and Uncle Henry. And instead of just saying like her home is Kansas, it's bigger than that. It's how she feels when she's at her home.
Yeah.
And I also read, someone said in some article that these characters start out as victims, but then they learn that they're actually responsible for their own happiness, which like we've talked about a lot on this podcast, but I think it's a really interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
And it's true, like, because, you know, especially like Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion are like complaining about this thing that they're lacking. And then at the end they realize that, oh wait, I'm the one who can make a difference in this. And self-discovery is what's going to flip my mindset.
Yeah. I agree with that. Because I feel like they just don't know their potential until they're faced with kind of like a little bit of adversity and they kind of have to adapt to what's happening.
Like, their first instinct is to ask for help or to ask for someone else to fix it or whatever. And also to kind of rely on each other, which ends up helping them, but none of them really rely on themselves.
No, because it's almost, I feel like a little bit like a found family trope as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And even though it's on such a short timeline, they obviously go through so much together.
Yeah.
Another big symbol in this movie is obviously the gay symbolism. This movie's clearly about self-discovery and expression and, you know, learning to express yourself. But it's also quite literally escaping a small rural town and going to this other place where seemingly everything is possible. Yeah. So there is not only this theme of like being comfortable with yourself, but also this coming out kind of allegory where it's like escaping from that small town mindset and going to this other place where everything is bigger and more exaggerated.
Flamboyant.
Exactly. And, you know, the rainbow symbolism, all of these colors.
I like never ever put that together.
Have you ever heard the slang term friend of Dorothy?
No.
Oh, yeah, well, they do say it in Clueless. That's obviously the first time I ever heard it. But friend of Dorothy was always slang for like a gay man.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was a big thing for gay men specifically.
Okay.
Now it has expanded to LGBTQ in general, but it was specifically for gay men. And I think that, like you said about the whole like flamboyant and stuff, because when being gay was obviously less accepted.
Yes.
It was, oh, if you're a gay man, of course you're flamboyant. Of course you're over the top. Whereas now we see there's all different types of gay people, you know, like it's not stereotyped like that anymore. But it definitely aligns with all of those very exaggerated stereotypes of gay men. But not in a negative way. And obviously because gay people have seen this movie as symbolism for the community for years and years and years.
I love that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like that there's, like, different movies that can mean, like, different things to people.
And I like that this movie came out so long ago that no one can say that this is wrong. Like, you know how the Village People were a symbol for gay men, but now they're fucking MAGA and stuff?
Yeah.
The guy who wrote this is long gone. So he can't tell us that we're wrong about what we think of it, you know?
Uh-huh.
Also, he was very problematic, and he called for the extinction of Indigenous people. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole I didn't go down, because we're talking about the movie, okay, not the book. Anywho. All right, so now, drum roll, please. You guessed it. We're talking about capitalism. We're always talking about capitalism, Heather, because everything leads back to capitalism. So obviously the main culprit here is the wizard.
Yeah.
Everyone sees him as this great and mighty, powerful wizard who they aren't even worthy enough to lay their eyes upon. Like, at first, like, you can't see the wizard. No one sees the wizard. And at the end of the day, his power is an illusion, but everyone believes it through willful ignorance.
Sounds familiar.
He uses that ignorance to his advantage and abuses his power. And obviously he can't deliver on any of the promises that he would make the residents of Oz. So he flips that and gaslights them and makes it seem like they're not worthy of his help. And it's just it's so blatantly obvious, but that's why I said about willful ignorance.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, that's the familiar part, is that if anyone really stopped and said, this wizard never actually does anything for us, does he? But no one stops and says that. And this is all just sounding so familiar, perhaps, to a certain cult leader that's in charge of our country right now. I don't know. I'm scared about our freedom of speech right now because things are getting weird.
What do you mean? What is freedom of speech doesn't exist anymore?
Doesn't exist for the left. That's for fucking sure. Anyways, so speaking of, let's talk about the power of oppression. Okay, so obviously...
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We can make anything dark, actually. It could be like the happiest thing, and I'm like, but let's talk about fat phobia real quick.
Listen, that's what we're here to do, okay?
We each have our own soapboxes that we just cannot get the fuck off of.
Literally. And if someone is just looking for a positive book review podcast, like, we're not it. We're not it.
Although I do recommend listening to Twilight episode, because that one is probably my top tier favorite.
So good. So good. Okay. All right. So, oppression. So the Wicked Witch controls through blatant evil and imbalance of power. Everyone knows that she's scary. Munchkins are terrified of her. They are finally free from the Wicked Witch of the East, and it's very obvious and evident how powerful she is, how she rules through fear and just general evilness. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, the wizard does it in a different way, by illusion, as we said, and he is still oppressing his people in that way because he is still in charge of them, and he can control them and influence their decisions, and he is seen as this semblance of power. He is, you know, the one in charge. Now, Glinda, in her own way, is the secret villain, okay? Because not only does she get Dorothy all involved in this shit, and at first Dorothy's like, oh my gosh, I didn't kill her, but I killed her by accident, I'm so sorry. And then Glinda is like, haha, now you're wearing her shoes, run, don't let her get the shoes back. I'm sorry, what? And basically uses Dorothy to fight off her enemies so that she can have full control. But just because she's wearing a pink dress and doesn't have a green face.
And she's blonde.
She's blonde and pretty, which, not for nothing, I'm sorry, when they were like, oh, I'm a beautiful witch. I was like, this woman is 80 years old. She looked very old. Like I said, it was not high definition TV when she was cast for this. Anyway, but yes, she is blonde and white and wearing pink.
Yeah, she's definitely kind of like the definition of like girlish.
And the Wicked Witch is not white, wearing black, ugly, has basically a deformed face with her nose. She's mean, she's vile. And so in this way, you're supposed to know by looking at them that this is a good witch.
Who's evil. Yeah.
Exactly. This is a good witch and this is a bad witch. But we don't actually know what good things Glinda is doing besides like telling the Munchkins that they're cute. I don't know.
I think it's kind
She's
of
not
like,
really helping them in any way.
No, I think that it almost seems like they're trying to portray that her kindness is what makes her good.
But then she doesn't have any power because she's the kind witch.
Yeah.
Because why is Glinda scared of the Wicked Witch?
Yeah.
And not vice versa? And why didn't Glinda have the power to get rid of the Wicked Witch of the East? And so it is kind of...
It's almost kind of like they're making it seem like she doesn't want to get her hands dirty. And in the point where the Wicked Witch could be seen to play with like dark black magic. Whereas I feel like Glinda would be kind of by the book and do the spells by the book. So she doesn't want to do anything that would damage her image. So that's kind of why I think she would send Dorothy to do her dirty work, because her hands are clean, technically.
And then she still comes off as the good witch.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. And I think, obviously, just by looking at them, we're supposed to say, oh, the kind witch doesn't have as much power as the evil witch because evil people have more power. Yeah. But it's obvious that Glinda is calculated in this way. And like you said, she's calculated in no blood gets on her hands. Yeah. And instead, she doesn't know who the fuck Dorothy is. She's like, this girl just showed up and she's about to take care of all my problems.
Yeah, and I also just feel like anyone that's in a position of power is doing something dirty behind the scenes, regardless. There's no way you could
get up there.
Yeah, there's no way you could be in power without having some kind of, I don't want to say like nefarious intentions, but, you know, in order to hold power, you have to do something to put yourself there. And it's, you know.
And 9 times out of 10, that is something nefarious. Yeah, that's a good point. And not for nothing, there's also definitely a message about like groupthink in here. So the residents of Oz and the Munchkins just automatically assume things about these random people who keep popping into their homelands. The wizard came in a random hot air balloon and they were like, oh, a wizard. And he was like, yes. And then he just became the wonderful Wizard of Oz. The fuck? Like, that's not even his fault. They did that. So it's giving them that unearned power in the first place. The same as Dorothy shows up, drops a house on somebody, and they're like, oh my God, a witch. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
And she just actually sets them straight, whereas the wizard didn't. So it's definitely, the power does not get to these people in charge by itself.
Yeah.
It is because of these groups who give them that unearned power in the first place.
Yes.
I also did see in my Googling that before this movie came out, the cyclone specifically had been used in the past to signify political upheaval. So they would use it a lot of times in like political cartoons and stuff.
Okay.
So a lot of people speculated that that could be some symbolism. There's also a ton of implied symbolism about the Gilded Age because of the silver shoes and the yellow brick road. But we're not going to get into that because no one wants a history lesson, especially me. So we're skipping over that. Okay?
You're already dealing with chemistry right now.
Yeah. We don't need to get into the Gilded Age. You know what I'm saying? So what's the main message that you would take away from this movie?
I think just like the ability to believe in yourself and to know that everything that you possibly need is already within you, you know? And
I completely agree.
Yeah. I think that that's probably the biggest takeaway. And also, I think kind of in a sense for Dorothy, and I becoming a runaway because she thinks that that's like the answer to her problems when like realistically it isn't. But she's a young girl. That's what you do when you're an adolescent. You think that you know your life better than your parents or your caretakers. So I think her realizing that they're like, oh no, home is the place, where I belong, which isn't necessarily true for everyone. I'll say that. But for the story, obviously her home is the best place for her. And then, just having the ability to discover that you could do it.
Yeah, I
Identity.
agree. I think,
yeah.
Yes, I think that resonates with me the most too. Like Dorothy had that power within her all along, and she just needed to, I mean, she's never had, like I said, we don't know what happens with her parents. We don't know more about the relationship with her and her aunt and uncle, but we do know that she is like loved and cared for.
Yes.
And so I don't think she's ever really had to deal with any bad circumstances before.
I actually, in the beginning, I loved the interactions with like the three dudes that become like the Scarecrow. Like you can tell that they care for her in a way that's like, brotherly or like an uncle. Yeah. You know what I mean?
She has so much more than just her aunt and uncle.
Yeah, and I think that it's just I think it's just the adversity of being disliked by the town hag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. Like she just needed to be not only tested,
yes,
but to have other people to fight for. Like she's obviously an empathetic person, just based on her whole her interactions with everyone. And when push comes to shove, she'll do whatever she needs to do to help the people she cares about.
Yeah.
And so I think once she's faced with that decision, it's an easy decision for her. But because she might not necessarily have been tested in the past, she didn't realize she had that within her. Have you ever run away from home when you were younger?
I think I threatened it.
I mean, haven't we all? I ran away one time and I was gone for like 36 hours and my parents didn't notice.
Oh my God.
So I came home because I was at my friend's house and she was like, you have to go home because like I'm going to get in trouble if they find you here. And I was like, okay. So I went home and like no one had known that I was gone. And I was like, fuck. So this is where I continue to be on my soapbox of just because you have a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that they are the most attentive. Anyway. Okay. Speaking of bad parenting, I want to talk a little bit more about Judy Garland's experience while filming this. So Judy Garland's ex-husband actually had a memoir published like posthumously. Is that how you say that? Like after he died. And he actually alleged that she was also molested on the set by many of the Munchkins.
What?
And as you can see just from watching it, the other actors in this movie are much older than Judy. All of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I didn't see another actor who looked even close to her age.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, and she never confirmed or denied it. She did kind of allude to it at some points, like where she was like, oh, yeah, they would really get up to stuff. And people would be like, what? Well, she's like, never mind.
It's like, it kind of plays back into the things we've talked about in the past of just like the abuse that child actors go through, Because,
100%. And,
anyone who's on a set or an agent or whoever, they have like this superior complex that they could do what they want because they're in charge or they are older or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I wouldn't doubt if something like that happened to any child actor. because,
Mhm.
I mean, look at the fucking Nickelodeon kids, and, you know, it's just, it's unfortunately way too common.
Mhm.
So,
And this
but
was
the
in a time
Munchkins,
when
that's crazy.
I know.
That's like what's throwing me. You know, true or not, I mean, that's her own story, so that, you know, I'm not going to discredit it, but that's just like wild to my brain
Mhm.
to try to like
I think
put
it was
that.
something about like because there was so many of them and so many
Yeah.
different actors on set that it was kind of like easily disguised type thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, this is also, you know, such a different time in the movie industry where it's still up and coming. It's
Yeah.
still, you know, not as huge as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there was no child labor laws. There was no anything in place to make sure that these child
Yeah.
actors were safe. And, you know, like you said, there are things in place now and it's still happening. So
It's still happening.
imagine
Doesn't
how
matter.
horrible it was back then. And
Yeah.
I mean, this was happening so often in people's homes and people's, you know, so is it surprising that it was happening on a movie set? Of course not.
No.
And in all the articles that I read about them drugging her for this role, everyone is like, oh, it was nothing new though, because her mom had been giving her uppers as early as 7 years old.
But then it's like, can you even be surprised that like her death was a drug overdose? Like, you know,
Of course not. When she started that young, like we've talked about this so much where child actors oftentimes suffer so much later in life because they're forced to grow up,
they
they're
have some
forced to
kind of
not have
form of
normal
addiction.
childhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't see how everything they see is on a very exaggerated scale, or it's not like what a quote unquote normal childhood is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And it just, the attitude about it was what really shocked me, is that literally every single article was like, oh, it's nothing new. She'd already been on drugs. And it's like, do you understand how absolutely fucking crazy that is? Like,
I know.
and for what? For her mom to make money? Because you know that she wasn't making any money when she's 7 years old, 16 years old.
No, that's like the other issue with child actors in the industry, is that, you know, a lot of the times it's the parents that are profiting off of it. So whatever it takes to make the money, because, you know, it's about, you know, greed and fame.
Yeah, capitalism. And
everyone's disgusting.
Well, now they have certain things in place for child actors, you know, for money that they make, and like certain, basically like trust funds before their earnings. But the problem is that, okay, so great, they have it for these like TV actors, movie actors, but fame has grown in so many different ways. So what about those 8-year-old YouTubers who are making millions and millions of dollars unboxing shit on their YouTube channel? What are the safeguards in place for them? They don't have them. What about these kids of, just recently on Next Gen, there's this girl who's a daughter of a Real Housewife, and she started doing Instagram modeling when she was like 16. She made millions and millions and millions of dollars, and her mom completely bankrupted her. Like, took all of her money. She's like, I have no idea where the money went. She said, I don't even know how much money I made. And it's like, so there's nothing in place for someone who's making money off brands off Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be, basically, the technology is always going to be ahead of the protection.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the protection doesn't come until it has gotten so unbelievably bad. And, you know, and depending on who it's affecting. I mean, we see this all the time. If it's pretty white girls, changes are going to happen, or white men, don't even get me started on that. Changes are going to happen a lot sooner.
I know.
So I just find it so...
Well, it's so funny. And Eric and I are probably terrible for this, but all the time we're just like, Millie's going to have it easy in life, isn't she? And I'm like, yeah, you know, she's a pretty blonde white girl. She's going to have it pretty good, which is also scary because she's also going to be more, you know, she's going to be in a bigger place of being in danger as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like pros and cons.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? You know?
And it's also, you know, God knows what the world will look like when she's our age. But the fact of like, we are also like privileged white women, and we need to acknowledge that and use that place of privilege to speak for others who don't necessarily get the same platform, but also acknowledge that while we have our own things that we're fighting against, like women's rights and, you know, things like that, there are some things that we'll never have to worry about.
Yeah. Yep. And that's so crazy that we just live in a world that's, I mean, I can't even, I think about the world all the time, and I'm just like, it's just crazy that this is a place that we live in right now in general.
And, you know, like we joke about it, how everything comes back to politics, and like other people who are not into politics hate that and roll their eyes at that. But it's like, it's obviously, when we say politics, we're not just talking about economics, socioeconomic policy, like all this stuff. We're talking about the things that are involved with politics in our country right now, meaning human rights.
Yeah.
It's, you know, racism, xenophobia.
It's just all encompassing.
So it's like, of course, everything leads back to this, because every single person that we know is affected in some way by one of these things. So of course, all roads lead back to this. Even the Wizard of Oz. I didn't make this up. It's really about capitalism.
Don't follow a Yellow Brick Road.
No, truly though, because Dorothy should have asked more questions.
Listen, she's a 16-year-old girl. She don't know jack shit.
I never would have fallen for any of this shit. I truly would be like, nah, I don't know. This all seems a little fishy. Take your fucking shoes back. I'm out of here, you know? All right. Anyway, anything else that you want to discuss before we get to our ratings?
You know what? I didn't realize that, or I had probably, this is off topic, kind of. Actually, two things. The first was, I didn't realize that Liza Minnelli was Judy Garland's daughter.
I think I knew that either.
Yeah, I fell down a rabbit hole of Judy Garland while watching this movie. And that was one thing I didn't know. Two, I lied earlier on this podcast. It was not The Wizard of Oz that I hadn't seen. I did see Wizard of Oz. It was The Sound of Music.
Oh,
I did not see
Nazis.
The Sound of Music until I was in high school. Because I'm sitting, I'm like, this doesn't sound right. And I was like, oh wait, no, it was The Sound of Music. So I did see The Wizard of Oz in my youth, but I just
another movie
don't remember it.
Based on a book. What year did The Sound of Music come out? I actually haven't rewatched The Sound of Music in
oh my god,
the longest time.
It's been
it's about Nazis.
Very, very long time since I've seen that.
1956.
So it was around the time The Wizard of Oz became famous.
Yeah, but it's based on a 1949 memoir, and it's set in 1938. Wow. I have a feeling that if we watched that now, we'd see a lot of similarities. Also, Judy Garland is so beautiful.
I know.
She definitely looks older
when I tell you I fell down a rabbit hole, like I was looking at all her like pictures, and I was like, this, like, she was just effortlessly beautiful.
I actually would like to read like a biography or something.
I would too. I would too, because I know that she really went through it. And it's crazy because so many people did. You know, Marilyn Monroe,
and it was so ignored, and she was just probably looked at as crazy or whatever. But yeah, she definitely looks older than 16, but then it's funny because if you look at pictures of her later in life, she still looks the exact same age.
I know. It's crazy. Like, so she aged beautiful. Well, you know, but.
Last question. What is your favorite song from the movie?
Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
It also won something. Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Won like an Academy Award or something.
Yeah.
My favorite is... Yeah, it's probably Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
And just like that moment is just so serene. And like, you kind of have this moment where you have a Dorothy who daydreams about what her life could like look like. And so
And you really understand, because like we said, there's nothing wrong or nothing harmful about her home situation, but to a 16-year-old, it feels like,
of course,
the absolute worst situation
trapped,
ever. And no one's listening to you, and everyone has to be working and doing adult things when you just want to, you know, run around with your dog. So yeah, it really like develops her as a character right off the bat. All right. So our rating scale today is 0 to 10 flying monkeys.
Nice.
How many flying monkeys are you giving The Wizard of Oz?
I'll give it a solid 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It really is.
It's definitely a classic. It's definitely something that I can see it being like a household favorite that you pass down through generations of watching. You know, I think it just comes down to semantics of like film production and, you know, storylines and stuff like that. But realistically, I think it's just an instant classic for people.
I already kind of gave an inkling to my score when I said that this is my favorite movie of all time. I gave it 10 flying monkeys, and I'd give it more if I could.
Yeah. That's like, you know, it's like my favorite movie growing up was Grease, which is a very controversial movie.
Oh God, I love Grease.
It's not. I don't think it's based on a book, and if it is,
so
then I would fucking cover it. But
I don't think it is either.
No.
But wow, what a classic!
I made Eric watch it for the first time a couple years ago because he had never seen it, and the entire time we watched it, he was like, "There's so much wrong with this." I'm like, "I know, but it's so good."
Oh. It's based on the musical, and then there was a novel written based on the film.
I know. I know. That's just something that'll just have to sit.
We'll just have to have a girls' night and watch it, because I fucking love Grease.
Oh, it's so problematic, but so good.
So good. And the fact that they wanted us to believe that those people were in high school.
That's what Eric said.
These people were in their late 30s.
Even like when we watch like Outer Banks, Eric is like, how am I supposed to believe that this 30-year-old man is 21?
Oh, 100%. That's why I told you. I'm like, wow, I love Saltburn, except...
Oh, which by the way, did you see that Chase Stokes and Kelsey Ballerini broke up?
I did. I knew that you'd be upset about this one.
Well, it was a back-to-back double whammy because then Nina Dobrev and Shaun White broke up as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm nervous because
Shaun White cheated.
Oh, what happened? Oh,
Shaun White cheated on Nina Dobrev, yeah.
That makes me sad. So it comes in threes. So I'm waiting for the next one. We'll see.
I'm trying to think who it would be. I don't know. Yeah, so I give this 10 all day. This is, like I said, this is like my comfort movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's so... I love how it's held up. And it really isn't controversial, which is so... Like, obviously it has all these like themes and symbolism and stuff, but it's so crazy that it's not... problematic 90 years later.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think like, especially for the time, just like the production value, the special effects, all of it just does not, like my brain cannot comprehend that it came out in the 30s. Most of the acting I loved, most of the dialogue I loved. Obviously there's some issues with it, but I think just the longevity of it, and it just feels like a warm hug whenever I watch it.
That's nice though. It's nice to have that.
Yeah, and I own several copies of the book because I have like a collectible version. I have like a super, super old one. I have not read it, and I need to.
No,
and
I also have the collector's edition as well. They're actually on a shelf in my dining space because I also have, when my grandmother passed, when each of us gets married, my aunt has given us like a snow globe.
Oh, okay.
So like obviously I think I have the scarecrow. I think Jillian got Dorothy, and then I have the scarecrow.
Snow globe. So snow globe, that's so cute.
Yeah, so it like was my grandma's. Like she had like a couple of them. So
oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So she also loves
I'll have to show you next time you're over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't know that this was like your favorite movie.
Oh, yeah. And it's so funny because I've always thought about getting like a Wizard of Oz tattoo, but I could just never
I'm surprised
figure out what I wanted. Maybe this has reignited my passion. Yeah, it's so funny because there's so many other movies where I'm like, oh yeah, this would definitely be in my top 10, but like consistently Wizard of Oz has always been my favorite.
Yeah, like I think for you, like my movie is definitely Grease. Like that's like my go-to.
That's a good one. Yeah. That is a good one. Like we said,
me and my grandma, my mom's mom just thirsted over John Travolta. I was in love with John Travolta as a youth.
That was your childhood crush?
Yeah, which is probably why I just always liked older men.
Yeah, I was going to say he's super old. Mine was Leonardo DiCaprio, and he was young, but also like on drugs. So that's
John Travolta's
my type comes through. Yeah, that's true. But not as like visually obvious.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow, and then you just pictured John Travolta in so many different roles.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our conclusion on The Wizard of Oz. You thought this was going to be lighthearted? You're listening to the wrong podcast, as usual. Maybe next time I'll start out with something sunny and happy and then progress to the darkness. Probably not. Anyway.
Why change now?
Why switch it up at this point? You're right. All right, that's all we have for you today. If you like what you heard, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening on. If you have any book recommendations or questions for us, you can email us at fullybookedcalfpod@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at fullybookedcalfpod to see our upcoming reads. Thanks for checking us out, and remember,
if you need us, we're fully booked.
Bye!